Hello and welcome to the HydroMetPortal user interface tutorial. This section is on the alerting interface. Now there are 4 different alert categories available to the user to choose from. First 2 are pretty straightforward. We have observed and forecast, and then rain gauge alerts and Areal alerts over Huck 10 watersheds. Now within these 4 alert categories, there are 2 different alert types a user can choose from. The first being precipitation amount, expressed in inches or millimeters, and annual exceedance probability, expressed as a percent. First off, I'll give a brief overview of creating, listing, updating, and deleting alerts. So first step is creating an alert, and that's done by clicking the Create Alert button. And then we have the listing option, which shows the alerts that you've created. And then on each individual alert, there is the pencil button and the trash can, which deletes an alert. It should be noted that once you delete an alert, you will no longer receive alerts for that particular alert that you've deleted. Another feature worth mentioning is the minimum hours since last alert. This feature reduces the alert fatigue by spacing out the alerts to some interval rather than receiving an alert every single hour. Okay, now we're going to dive into the interface itself. So if we're starting off from the HydroMetPortal homepage, there's an alerting button on the left side, or you can just type it in to the address bar, hydrometportal.dtn.com/admin. And this will take you to the alerting homepage. And then the user can select the alert category from the alerts dropdown. We'll start with observed alert. So now we're at the create alert page. So we'll create a precipitation type alert. We'll give it a name. We'll call it a tutorial example. And then we will select our point using this autocomplete address feature. Put the point where we want it. And then choose our accumulation period. We'll go with 48 hours. Then a precipitation value to trigger on of 1 inch. Give our email address to receive the alert at. We can also enter our phone number so we can receive a text message alert. And then we'll save that, and we created it successfully. So here's an example of what this alert would look like if it were triggered. You would get this alert email with the precipitation map and a marker at your selected point. And then here's an example of an SMS that you would receive for this alert. Now I'll demonstrate how to modify the alert type. So we'll hit the pencil button and choose from the alert type drop-down annual exceedance probability. We'll rename it to AEP, and we can choose an AEP trigger value from that drop-down. And then we save it, and it's been modified to be an AEP alert. Now we're done with it. We can hit the trash can and delete this. And when this alert triggers, here's the email that you would receive and the text message that you would receive for this annual exceedance probability alert. Next, we'll try out a forecast alert. So once again, we're going to select the forecast alerts from the alert dropdown. Call this tutorial example. I'm going to do a precipitation type alert. So this is just the same stuff. Same procedure as the observed alerts. The only difference is that this is for in the future. So we set the threshold at 1 inch. Give it email, phone number. And here are the corresponding alert emails and text messages that you would receive for this forecast precipitation alert. And now we'll edit our forecast alert type to an annual exceedance probability alert, and I will note that any of these fields are editable after the fact, after the alert has been created. So once again, here are the examples of the alert messages you would receive for this annual exceedance probability alert. And the only difference between this and the precipitation alerts is that you get a probability of this precipitation amount occurring in any given year. Up next are Areal alerts, otherwise known as Watershed alerts. So we're going to go ahead and set up this Areal alert, and this one is a little more interesting because we actually get to use this Huck 10 selector to choose our watershed. So we'll go with this fun one, lower 4-hole swamp, and we'll set the parameters as we've done before. Nothing new here. Only difference being that this is precipitation that's been accumulated over a watershed. And so we get an alert message that will look like this, with the HUC 10 watersheds outlined and the name and identifier given. And finally, we have rain gauge alerts. So there are actually two ways to set up these alerts. We have the traditional alerting interface way, and you select your state that you're wanting to choose from, and you can filter the station name. Or you can use a mapping interface, and you select a date, and then you'll turn on the rain gauge layer, and click on a station point, and there's this big blue button that says Create Gauge Alert, and that will autofill the station name for you. Okay, so once we've got a station selected, we'll go ahead and fill in the rest of the alert details, as we've done with the previous alerts. One detail I haven't mentioned yet is the minimum hours since last alert. So if you're getting too many alerts per hour, you can set it to something like 6, and you would only get an alert every 6 hours. And here's the alert email for the rain gauge alert, and the alert text message that you would receive for this. This concludes the alerting portion of the tutorial. There's also a tutorial video on the mapping interface. If you have any questions about this or anything else related to HydroMetPortal, you can contact us at metportalalert@dtn.com.